Hi, this is Herbert Sweet for Days from the good old Bajan cooking group. It's cold and it's rainy here in Barbados today. So today we usually do this on a weekend in the old traditional days, but today it is raining. So what I'm doing today, I'm turning down my pot today and I'm going to do some cornmeal porridge, which we Bajans call pap. I'm going to do some cornmeal pap along with some cornmeal base. So here I will present it to you and show you how it's prepared. Yes, folks, this is what we do in Barbados while the rain is falling. We prepare some porridge, and this will be cornmeal porridge I'm doing. So I have on my water with my bay leaf. My bay leaf are boiling nicely in my water while I start to prepare my bakes. We are having bakes and some cornmeal porridge. We're having some cornmeal bakes. So here I preparing my cornmeal bakes. This is my 4 cups of flour, my 2 cups of cornmeal, my cup of sugar, and adding a pinch of salt. That's about a half a teaspoon of salt that I have added to my cornmeal bakes. I'm not going to add baking powder. You can add 1 teaspoon of baking powder if you want to add baking powder, but I will not be adding baking powder to my bakes. I'm adding half a teaspoon of nutmeg to my bakes. Half a teaspoon of nutmeg. You can add some essence. If you wish, you can add a teaspoon of essence if you wish to your bakes. I have combined my flour with my cornmeal and my sugar and my nutmeg. And you mix it, you well combine it. Make sure that everything is together nicely. And then you would add your water. So here I would add my water. You add your water to the texture that you will need. So I would just combine this together for the nice smooth texture that I will need, because I don't need it too runny. I need it like a pancake paste, so I don't need it too runny, so don't add too much water to it. So you don't add a lot of water to it. You add it in piece by piece. Don't mix all one time. You just mix it piece by piece and let it combine and combine and combine till you get that nice smooth pancake paste. Now here is my batter for my bakes. This is my batter for my bakes. So while I've finished my batter for my bakes, so I can now go ahead and finish my cornmeal porridge. Porridge now, I will add a little salt, pinch of salt to my porridge. I will add my salt, and then I would add a half pack of meal that I'm going to use. This is my meal. I'm going to use half pack of this meal. You soak your meal because you're adding it to hot water, and it will start to lump if you do not add water to it. So you add some water to it before you add it inside of your pot, and then you stir. You keep stirring your meal. You keep stirring your meal to prevent any lumps. When this meal get a little kind of thickening, start to thicken, I will then lower the heat, because you don't need the heat too high, because you don't want the cornmeal to burn. So you just stir, constantly stirring, because you don't need it to burn. So cornmeal porridge is something that you have to keep stirring. while it's cooking. So we're gonna keep stirring until we get the thickness that we want. It's not thick enough yet. Then I would add some nutmeg to this, and after I add my nutmeg, I will lower the heat because it's beginning to thicken a little bit. So I will just stir. You can see the leaves floating, some of the leaves, but the leaves will be taken out when we finish because we need a flavor to keep boiling in there. We need that bay leaf to give it a flavor. So we will continue to boil the bay leaf inside of the cornmeal. So I get it to a point where I want it to cook. So I will just lower the stove. I will lower the stove and I will add my nutmeg. Here I would add my nutmeg. I need at least a teaspoon of nutmeg to my porridge. This also will give it a nice flavor. So I add in my nutmeg. As you see, it's starting to thicken. Your porridge is starting to thicken. You're going to lower that stove a little bit, as I said before, so that it will cook without you having to burn. Because it's very easy to burn, but we don't want it to burn. So we just lower the stove. Now I added my oil. This is the oil I use, Corona oil. I have used for my pan. I've heated my pan with some Corona oil. So this is, my pan is heated to do the base with some Corona oil while I continue to do my cornmeal porridge. Now I will now add my sweetened milk to my porridge. I am not using evaporated milk, but I am using sweetened milk. So I add in my sweetened milk, 1 can of condensed milk I'm adding to my porridge. You can make this porridge as sweet as you want. You can make it as thick as you want. But I won't be adding it too sweet because of my health. Not to use a lot of sugar, so I won't be using a lot of my sugar. So I'm teaching my family as well not to use much sugar. But you can add whole milk to this, or you can add your condensed milk, as I said, or your 2% milk, your artificial sugar. You can add to this porridge. And I'm not making this porridge too thick because I want to be able to drink it from my cup and not by a bowl. But if you want to use it from a bowl, you would add more cornmeal to your saucepan, depending on how many people they are, if it's your one or if it's a family. But my family doesn't like it thick. So I'm not using it too thick. I'm using it thick, but not that thick. Really have to use it with a spoon. We're using it from a cup. We'll be drinking this. So you add your can of condensed milk. You can use some coconut milk as well to this porridge. It gives it a nice flavor as well. So this is my cornmeal porridge. While I'm going to do my bakes, I have my bakes on. So I have my bakes here in my pan. I will turn them now as they're getting brown. So these are my bakes that I'm doing. Here you have a nice cup of cornmeal porridge with some nutmeg sprinkle on the top. And these are your lovely bakes, your golden brown bakes. So I'm having these bakes with some porridge for my dinner. So this is one of the Bajan ways of having dinner when you don't want to eat food, you don't want to have a heavy dinner, you just need some cornmeal pop along with some bakes. Thank you all for watching Herbert Sweet for Days from the good old Bajan cooking group. Thank you for watching me once again. Good night.